everybody? It's Justin. Happy Wednesday. Happy AMA Day. We are live on Facebook. For those of you that don't know, what the heck is an AMA? An AMA literally just stands for Ask Me Anything. This is my weekly Ask Me Anything video. We are on week number 23. That's a long ass time. We've been doing this a very long time and it's been awesome. I want to thank you guys for being here. This is number 23, live Ask Me Anything. Crazy topic we're talking about tonight. But first, let's make sure everything's running smoothly. On the Facebook page, you guys are on the Facebook page, Clovis Culture. I'm sure I got Academy people here. I'm sure I have Clovis Kids people here. I'm sure I have I Am Clovis people here. I'm scrolling down the page. I want to make sure that I'm actually live. I can see myself. That's fantastic news. All right, I'm going to click for more so I can see your comments. What's up, Lindsay? What's up, Nikki? Dad's here. Awesome. What's up, Dad? Chris is here. All sorts of people. Hi, Christy. This is awesome. Erica, Stephanie, killer. Amazing. Number 23. I've been oddly looking forward to this one all week, and I've been oddly dreading this one all week. This is going to be crazy. For those of you that don't know, I get a lot of these questions throughout the week from the Clovis Facebook groups. I Am Clovis, Clovis Kids, the Clovis Academy, which has over 850 members. 850 fans, can't be wrong, right? Gotta be awesome. And that's why you're here. If you're a first-time viewer, somebody probably told you about it. Somebody probably tagged you, because we're gonna be talking all about mental health. This is our mental health episode. So, today's intro is gonna go a little bit longer than usual. Why? Because tonight's topic is quite possibly the most important topic I've ever discussed in an AMA. I'll extend this intro a little bit. Give you a couple disclaimers. I am not a doctor, okay? Now that I have said that, I am also not a psychiatrist. Doctors are also not psychiatrists. The same way that I have told you that traditional doctors, MDs, are not nutritionists. Stop treating them like nutritionists and getting nutrition advice from them. Stop treating them like psychiatrists and getting psychiatric advice from them. Do not do that, okay? I wouldn't do it. I don't think that you should do it. Now, I also want to say, this video is not to be taken as medical advice. I am not giving you medical advice because I am not a doctor. These are strictly my opinions based on the research I have done, and I will share with you here tonight. I will give you all the facts as I have researched them, as I have discovered them. I am not recommending that anyone discontinue use of prescribed medications. If you choose to do that, you do it at your own risk. And I highly recommend consulting with a trained professional and getting proper health and wellness team. Get a team in place. My suggestion is find a functional medicine doctor, use their in-house team, and discuss these things with them, okay? Don't just listen to Justin on the internet, run out, quit your medication cold turkey. I'm not telling you to do that, okay? So, at the end of this video, I'll show you how to find a functional medicine doctor, how to find your own practitioner in your area, and I highly suggest it. It's expensive, yes, but totally worth it. Also, the second part of this disclaimer, I'm gonna get very angry. Like, in researching this AMA, I feel like I need a freaking case of dry farm wines, literally. Like, I'm probably gonna yell at the screen at some point in this AMA. Probably gonna yell at the screen, but I need you to understand, none of this is your fault. I've said this in a couple AMAs, I've said it in a couple videos in the Academy. When I get very aggressive, I'm kind of an aggressive dude, okay? Those of you that know me. If I get very aggressive, I'm not getting aggressive at you. I'm literally picturing an army of 1,000 of you to my right and an army of 1,000 of you to my left with 1,000,000 behind us, and we're screaming at the people who did this to you together. Got it? That's what's happening. So if I get upset, I'm not upset at you, I'm upset with you. And I haven't even been a victim of this, right? But I'm furious about this. It's the craziest shit I've ever researched in my life. Literally, it's crazier than the low-fat myth that was genocide. It's crazier than that, right? Okay? So, tonight's episode is called Depression, a Second Opinion. So, I'm gonna give you a quick summary because I'm pretty sure the summary by itself is gonna ruffle some feathers, okay? So, and then I will get into whiteboarding and all the goodies. So let's start. Depression, second opinion. Wait, we forgot one thing. You gotta click the share button. You gotta click the share button. You gotta share this to your timeline. You gotta click the happy face, the smiley face, the heart button, the like button. I better see 10 million emojicons or meme-emojis or micons, whatever the hell we call them now. Apple always has new ones. Make those explode on my screen right now. Give me the happy faces, give me the laughy faces, give me the likes, give me the loves. You guys are awesome. I love this. Thank you very much. Click the share button and click share now public. So I just shared it to my public page. It says this has been shared to your timeline. That's going on the Justin Nault one. Driving here, so just listen. Totally cool, Cambria. Just listen. Share to my whole Facebook. Thank you, Stephanie. Awesome. What's up, Sadie? Yes, good disclaimer. Sam, don't worry, Sam. You can log in and watch it after the fact. The conversation is going to keep going. I'm sure this conversation is going to go for days and days and days in all the private groups and all the public groups. This conversation is going to go on and on. Probably going to get a lot of shit from people. I'm prepared for it. It's cool. Let's do this thing, okay? So, thank you, Christy. Thank you, Sean. Crystal, off work tonight. Awesome. Killing it. All right, let's do this. So, yeah, Carly, that's exactly what you should do. Share this with people who are struggling with depression so we can clear some things up, okay? It's very important. And hopefully they're open-minded people who aren't just going to hate me for this, okay? So, depression, a second opinion. It's a quick summary of what's going to happen tonight. From 1999 to 2008, the use of antidepressant medications, prescriptions, has increased by 400%. 400%, a fourfold increase in just 10 years. That's from 1998 to 2008. If you mention depression in public, 99% of people are going to say it's a chemical imbalance in the brain. That's what they're going to say. It's what they've been trained to say. They're parroting these terms, right? They're also going to parrot another cliche word that they've heard over and over, which is serotonin. They're going to talk about serotonin. They're going to talk about a chemical imbalance. The truth is, after 6 decades of research, 6 decades and countless studies, there are exactly 0 studies that link depression with a chemical imbalance in the brain. Let me word that another way. There is not a single solitary study that links depression to a chemical imbalance in the brain. Not one study. We're going to talk more about this. We're going to talk about the fact that depression treatments in America are all based on a hypothesis that's over 50 years old and has never been proven. Never. They've tried over and over. It's never been proven, right? We will go into the overwhelming data that says everything you think you know about depression is 100% wrong. Like this. Completely backwards. 100%. It's freaking ridiculous. We're going to talk about how the depression epidemic was purposefully allowed to happen for profit reasons, of course. We're going to talk about how this impacts your children, which is very, very important. We'll jump into my areas of expertise, which are lifestyle change, nutrition, things of that nature, how they impact depression, how they can help you. Okay? And I'm going to teach you a few things. We're going to talk about how we got here, the root causes of depression, how to change it, how to set yourself free, and the specific questions that I've been asked in the private groups. We're going to hit that in the live Q&A section. So this Q&A, we have a few things preloaded. We're going to talk about veterans. We're going to talk about anxiety. We're going to talk about alternative measures of depression, which I am a big fan of. We're going to talk about a lot of different things. So that's basically what tonight's going to look like. Now, for those of you that don't know me, we got to run through the intro. My name is Justin Nault. I am a certified nutritional therapist. I am a specialist in sports nutrition. I am also currently enrolled to become a specialist in fitness nutrition, so we'll get to add some letters to the name. Cool. I'm also the founder of Clovis. I invented a line of nutritional powders called the Perfect Paleo Powder. Back in 2014, invented it in my kitchen. First ever certified paleo protein on the market. Beat everyone on the market with that. They're the best products in the world, hands down, and now I transform people's lives through health coaching, nutrition consulting, whatever you want to call it. Hundreds and hundreds of people, I transform their lives through lifestyle changes. 50 pounds in 8 weeks, 40 pounds in 60 days, 11 pounds in 7 days, you name it, I've done it. And that's what I'm trying to do tonight, transform more lives, bring more people into the fold, try to teach you what I know in a free way so you can go out and live a healthier life for free, okay? Now, remember, while you're watching these videos, ignore all the crazy daily notifications, slide your phone into do not disturb mode, get somewhere quiet, talking about changing your life. If you stay to the end of this episode, you will have a better understanding of depression than most medical doctors. You will learn the root causes of depression. We'll talk about pharmaceutical drugs at length. We'll talk about lifestyle changes and anxiety. And then you can jump into the live Q&A section where you can ask me all sorts of questions of whatever I just said. That if that whole summary was like, wait a second, this is crazy, you can ask me about that. You can ask me specific questions about yourself. I'll read your comments. I'll answer the questions. Let's do a quick check after that summary. What'd you guys think of that summary? Let me know. Craziness? What's up? Send it to a friend. Brooke, hearts, done. Bring it, Justin. I'm about to bring it. This is a fire episode. Fire episode. My face is gonna get red. That's what I do when I get mad. That's what it sounds like when I get talk and get mad. Right? This one's gonna be crazy. Okay, Jackie's ready. Hearts, angry faces, wild faces, pure crazy. I can't wait. Jesse, what's up, dude? Carly, love it. Thank you guys. All right, let's dive in. Depression, second opinion. We've been told by the government, the medical community, and marketing companies that depression is caused by a chemical imbalance in the brain. Now, here's the result. Here's some of the things we just talked about, right? From 98 to 08, we see a 400% increase in depression prescriptions. Antidepressants are now the third most prescribed drug on planet Earth across all ages. I'm going to talk about the age thing in a minute because that really pisses me off. Now, women, most of the Clovis Academy is women. 1 in 4 of you is on antidepressant medication. 1 in 4 of you. 25% of the population. Okay? Now remember, the vast majority of these prescriptions are written for people by their family doctor, not a psychiatrist. Hint, these family doctors have 0 training in psychiatric therapy. They're not psychiatrists. It's the same as the nutritionist thing. I've told you, I respect boxers, I respect kickboxers. I don't ask the boxer how to throw a kick. I ask the kickboxer how to throw a kick because that's his freaking specialty. They're both respected, right? Doctors are not psychiatrists, okay? Yet, get this statistic. 7% of all doctor visits ends in a prescription for an antidepressant. 7% of all. That means people are going into the doctor with a cold and walking out with an antidepressant. That's how bad that is. Of all visits for any reason, 7% of them end with an antidepressant medication. Now, let's talk really crazy shit. 15% of pregnant women are on antidepressant medications. Antidepressant medications that are clinically proven to have negative impacts on the baby inside of them. 15% have prescriptions for antidepressants. Prescriptions that were written for them by healthcare professionals. 15%, right? Now get this. This pregnancy statistic in just the last couple of years has grown by 3x. By 3x in a couple of years, right? And let me tell you why. Because the pharmaceutical companies lobbied with the government and lobbied with the FDA or whoever the hell else makes these regulations. They lobbied to them to let them use to expand the scope of reach of antidepressant medications. So now they get to treat all sorts of things that aren't depression, right? They get to use these drugs for anxiety, hyperactivity, ADHD, ADD, autism, Tourette's, schizophrenia. What's the result of that? These drugs are now being prescribed to children as young as 2 years old. Sometimes you just wish fighting wasn't illegal, right? Are you with me? 2-year-olds. 2-year-olds are getting prescribed these medications. Seriously, how the hell did we get here? Let's talk about how the hell we got here. Let's just dive in. Let's start with the elephant in the room, okay? Because I know a lot of you are screaming at the screens going, Justin, of course it's a chemical imbalance. We all know about serotonin. But Justin, what about serotonin? What about serotonin? We have low serotonin. It's a chemical imbalance, right? Blah, 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 blah. The serotonin deficiency hypothesis was based on 2 observations made in completely unrelated studies. Let me repeat that for you. The hypothesis was formed on 2 observations, not studies. Observations, as part of completely unrelated clinical studies in the 1950s and the 1960s. Mind you, we couldn't even look at a human cell under a microscope until the 70s. This was done in the 1950s and 60s, where the serotonin hypothesis was come up with. Sounds a lot like the low-fat hypothesis, doesn't it? This shit's getting crazy, right? So the low serotonin, based on observations, not studies on serotonin. Studies on completely unrelated things. They were studying seizures and tuberculosis and some kind of heart disease, and they somehow came up with this ridiculous, it was high blood pressure, not heart disease, and they came up with this ridiculous serotonin hypothesis that low serotonin causes depression, right? Since then, we now have 6 decades, 60 years of countless thousands of studies, countless of thousands of scientific studies. Do you want to know what the result is? The general consensus after 6 decades of trying to prove this nonsense, right? There has never been a human study that has successfully linked low serotonin levels and depression. Never. Same goes for animal studies. There's never been a human study, there's never been an animal study that has successfully linked low serotonin to depression. Zero evidence whatsoever. I'll put this another way for you. The serotonin hypothesis is a complete and utter myth. I'm sorry. I don't know how many of you hate me now, hate me that this chemical imbalance thing is gone, that you can't say it anymore, that other people can't say it anymore. Yet the drugs we use to treat depression are literally called selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. What I put over here, right? SSRIs. This is what we use to treat depression. Selective. That means it only works on the serotonin pathway, okay? So now that we know that the serotonin hypothesis has never been proven, ever, why are we still doing this? Money. Money, 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 right? That's why we're doing it. So here's the other thing. There's actually no evidence one way or the other, none, no evidence that shows that SSRIs raise or lower serotonin levels. No evidence. They don't know if it raises serotonin. Some people think that it lowers serotonin. Here's the thing. They don't actually know. The mechanism of action for SSRIs is still completely unknown. Completely unknown. Think about that. It's crazy. Now on top of it, they say that up to 80%, I'm trying to figure out how to make all this fit, right? Up to 82% of all reported benefit, patient-reported benefits from SSRIs are placebo. Estimated that 82% of benefit, patient-reported benefits from all SSRI use is 82% placebo. They don't actually know what's happening, guys. This is based on a hypothesis. It's an educated guess that has never been proven. In fact, they've been trying to prove it for 60 years. Why? Because if they could prove it, the pharmaceutical companies would make even more money. But they can't prove it. And it gets better. When we talk about serotonin is down here, it's already crossed out. There is currently no scientific way to measure serotonin levels in your brain. There's no way to measure serotonin. There's no way to measure how much serotonin is produced when you take a drug. There's no way to measure how much serotonin is produced when you're in a good mood. There's no way to measure it. The docs have been guessing this whole time. So when you have a doctor who very confidently tells you that you have a chemical imbalance in your brain, they are 100% talking out of their ass. They are making themselves sound stupid, but people don't fact check. They don't go home and do the research on this, right? So I'll end this with an even scarier point, this little section, and I'm going to take some comments from you guys because I know this is kind of mind-blowing, and I know that I went kind of quickly on that. But to end this section, here's a scarier point. They don't know if it raises or lowers serotonin. They don't know if serotonin is responsible for happiness. They don't know how to measure serotonin levels in the brain. They don't know how to measure serotonin production. But they do know that some data suggests that extremely high serotonin levels are actually linked to terrible things such as autism and schizophrenia. Yet we're constantly trying to spike hormone. More serotonin makes you happy. More serotonin makes you happy, right? It's crazy. We now know that high serotonin levels actually carry immense danger, okay? Now, if you stop and think about this, like everything that I just told you here in this, it's been what? What time is it? It's 8:21. We've been here for 20 minutes. We've been here for 20 minutes. And we just went through everything that you've ever been told by the medical community, everything you've been told by your friends and family who parrot stuff, everything you've been told by the big pharmaceutical companies, everything you've been told by your government, sits right here with zero scientific evidence. It's almost comical. It's almost comical because they're destroying people's lives. That shit ain't funny. This is where we're at, right? Tell me what you think. Let's take a little breather. I mean, holy shit. This is serious, guys. What do we want to see here? Let me see some of these comments. World needs it right now. Absolutely. Tagging friends. Brett, that's awesome. Always good tagging. Yes, exactly. Jesse, they get kickbacks from pharmaceutical companies. Absolutely. I was prescribed antidepressants for migraines at 14. You see what I'm talking about? Clovis kids, parents, Clovis kids. If you are a parent and aren't in Clovis kid, get in there. What are you doing? Get into Clovis kids. This is how important this stuff is. When I break down the root causes of why this shit is happening, trust me, you're going to want to put your kids in Clovis kids. Had a doctor 6 years ago convince me I was depressed and needed drugs. I threw him out of the room. Fantastic. Go look for a new doctor. That's awesome. Cassie, crazy. Jackie, holy shit. I know. Stephanie, insane. I'm pissed. Hank, that's nuts. But they do know that it increases thoughts of suicide. Yes, Lindsay, we're going to talk about that later. The suicide epidemic is real, okay? See, that's the thing, Nikki. They don't know how to measure where serotonin comes from exactly. There's no mechanism of measurement. It's produced in the brain. Now, a lot of serotonin, most of your serotonin, is actually produced in the gut. And we're going to talk about the gut microbiome later. So serotonin is something that freely floats in the body. And serotonin probably, again, hypothesis, probably comes from multiple different areas. Now we know that there is a tremendous amount of serotonin that is produced in the gut from your gut microbiome, from a healthy gut microbiome, okay? We're going to talk about that later, we're jumping ahead of ourselves. But a tremendous amount of serotonin is produced in the gut. But it's probably also produced in the brain in some way, shape, or form. The serotonin from the gut passes the blood-brain barrier, enters into your brain, boom. Women are given antidepressants to lose weight. Yes, insane. I've been prescribed them so many times, no wonder it's never helped. I've been prescribed for migraines too to help me lose weight. We're going to get into that, Stephanie, don't worry. Hank, the odds are it does nothing for her mood. Yes. Now, we're going to get there. Guys, don't get ahead of yourselves. We got this whole AMA left. I'm going to talk about pharmaceuticals. I'm going to talk about everything. I'm going to talk about everything, okay? I'm going to talk about serotonin, all these things. Told me that it helps with weight loss. Yep, of course they did. Wellbutrin made me hungry. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Great comments, guys. I'm glad you're paying attention. This is super important. Let's jump in, okay? I'm going to check my little video here to make sure. Oh, I can write all the way up here. Haha. You guys can see up top and down below. I have more space today. That's awesome. I set this up well. Okay, so now some of you are probably looking at the screen, screaming. I mean, the question that I get with this is, am I a conspiracy theorist, right? So there's probably, literally, I bet some people are going, this guy's crazy. If this is the first time you let your husband watch, first time you had your wife watch, first time your girlfriend's watching, first time your cousin in Detroit is watching, they're probably like, this guy's crazy. He sits at home and wears a tinfoil hat and uses a CB radio to shoot signals into outer space to get an answer from the great unknown. That's not the case. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to outline the data, okay? I'm going to outline the evidence of all of this, okay? So, none of this, first things first, none of this is a secret. You could do 1 hour of research, and you can find all this that I just told you, you can do 1 hour of research by yourself and find this information, okay? Now, I say this all the time on these AMAs. If I'm talking about low fat, if I'm talking about the cardio myth, if I'm talking about overtraining in CrossFit, if I'm talking about sodium, if I'm talking about dairy, what do I tell you? I am not some magical prophet who has been gifted the secret medical scrolls from ancient Egypt that no one knows about. They're impossible to find. Only Justin has bestowed this great gift upon the world. It's ridiculous. You could do the tiniest bit of effort. The tiniest bit of effort, go out, figure this stuff out. When the doctor feeds you a solution, look into it. You don't have to say yes. Doctor appointments are very intimidating. They're super intimidating. I get that. especially for women. They're incredibly intimidating, okay? You think you're talking to an expert, you think you're getting advice, all right? So, we're gonna talk about the medical community as a whole. And again, this is a warning. This is very much a red pill moment. This is a matrix red pill moment. We're going far beyond antidepressants now. Not just antidepressants, not just psychiatric drugs. We're going far beyond that, diving into the medical community as a whole. Red pill? Are you guys good with red pill? This is a legit red pill moment, okay? We're going to talk about the medical community as a whole. I'm going to start with an organization called the Cochrane Collaboration. Guys, this shit's about to get nuts, okay? The Cochrane Collaboration is a network of more than 31,000 researchers from 130 different countries whose only job is to study data from health-related research. They get the data from this healthcare research from ridiculously prestigious organizations like the British Medical Journal, the Journal of American Medical Association, and the Centers for Disease Control, okay? Again, 31,000 researchers, 130 countries, their only job is to go over data and come up with general consensus, right? They have proven that prescription drugs are the third leading cause of death behind heart disease and cancer. Third most prescribed drug in the world is also the third leading cause of death globally. Third leading cause of death. Third most prescribed drug on earth is third leading, well, these are antidepressants. So you're talking about antidepressants there, and now all pharmaceuticals. Okay, so let's be clear about that. This is all pharmaceuticals. All pharma, okay? Sorry, that was a little confusing. But all pharmaceutical drugs are the third leading cause of death in the world. Now, we will talk about psychiatric drugs in particular. Remember, Cochrane Collaboration, 31,000 researchers, 130 different countries. Now, let me give you a direct quote from the founder of the Cochrane Collaboration, the founder of a company whose only job is to research health-related data from the most prestigious organizations in the world. Here's a direct quote from the founder. Quote, "Our citizens would be far better off if we removed all psychotropic drugs from the market, as doctors are unable to handle them. It is inescapable that their availability creates more harm than good." Now we're talking specifically about psychiatric drugs, which he calls psychotropic drugs. I'm going to read that one more time for you, just for good measure, in case you have a history with psychiatric drugs. "Our citizens would be far better off if we removed all the psychotropic drugs from the market, as doctors are unable to handle them. It is inescapable that their availability creates more harm than good." Are you kidding me? I'm going to continue. Let's talk about the medical community as a whole. Here's another quote about the medical community in general. Now remember, we're talking about all of medicine. So we just talked psychiatric drugs. Now we're back to talking about all of medicine. This is from the prestigious British Medical Journal back in 2013. Quote, "Unfortunately, in the balance between benefits and risks, it is an uncomfortable truth that most drugs do not work in most patients." One more time. Quote, "Unfortunately, in the balance between benefits and risks, it is an uncomfortable truth that most drugs do not work in most patients." Are you fucking kidding me? Really? I mean, that's a direct quote from the British Medical Journal back in 2013, very recently. That literally said most drugs in the world don't work on most people. And it's an uncomfortable truth. Uncomfortable truth. I'm going deep, we're already in this far, we're gonna keep going. Okay, a study published in the Mayo Clinic Proceedings in 2013 confirmed that 40% of all medical practice Studies confirmed 40% of all medical practice should be thrown out. Literally did studies that proved 40% of all medicine currently being practiced should be thrown out. That's insane. 40% of all medical. Okay, so here's the sad truth. Now, how does this affect you? This is where things get crazy. So I've said this in the past. If somebody tells me, yes, but I'm a doctor, or I'm a PhD, or I'm a nutritionist, or I'm a dietitian, I ask them a question that makes them go, duh. I go, what year was your textbook written? When you graduated, what year was your textbook written? They usually say, I have no idea. Then they go back and check, and they realize that their textbook was published in 1983, which means the data is 15 years behind. So it was made sometime in the 70s or in the 60s, based on scientific data from now 40, 50, 60 years ago. Congratulations, you know a bunch of information that is completely useless. So here's how this works in the medical community. What we just talked about, when there's a new study that comes out that certain medical practices are harmful or not effective, when those studies come out, it takes an average of 17 years before that information trickles down into your primary care physician's daily practice. On average, it will take your primary care physician 17 years to find out that 40% of all medicine should be thrown out according to scientific studies. We all have till 2030 to wait for our doctors to catch up, don't we? That study came out in 2013. And think about it. This is when your primary care physician is going to realize, oh man, 40% of what I've been doing is wrong, and studies prove it. Crazy. Who would have known? Sorry, everybody. It's insane. One last one, just to put the nail in the coffin. In 2011, the British Medical Journal, again, performed an analysis of over 2,500 medical treatments. Guess what they found? If you visit your doctor or hospital, there is just a 36% chance that you will receive treatment that has been scientifically proven to be beneficial. A 36% chance that you will get treatment that is scientifically proven to be beneficial. The rest, guesswork, which also means there is a 64% chance that you will receive medical treatment that is either harmful or has no evidence at all. Harmful or completely useless. Those are the only two. Harmful or completely useless. Because we know only 36% has been scientifically proven to be beneficial. Do you like those odds? I don't. Here's an amazing quote from Dr. Kelly Brogan. And I'm going to talk a lot about Dr. Kelly Brogan in a little bit because her book is fantastic. You need to read it. Her quote is, optimal health is not possible with medication. Optimal health is not possible with medication. Okay? Now, I'm not saying there haven't been incredible advancements in medication. There have been incredible advancements in pharmaceutical drugs. I'm not saying any of that. Antibiotics are great if someone's dying from an infection, right? Antibiotics are not great if you got the freaking sniffles. Suck it up and deal with the cold. Okay? This is what I'm saying. Not all medicine is bad. It's just a whole lot of guesswork. And the statistics and the scientific studies are there to prove that definitively. Let's take a quick look, see how you guys are doing, take a little break. How many people want to punch their screens right now? That's my question. Any medical providers in Clovis? Working on it. Guys, I'm working behind the scenes literally 37 hours a day. That's possible because I bend space and time. That's how hard I work for you. Trust me, I'm working on some shit, some legit, like crazy legit stuff. What else we got? Subscribe many times. CBDs, yeah, those are great, okay. Told me how some weight loss. We'll talk about CBDs coming up because you're going to see the root cause and all that. So crazy, and I don't like his voice. Of course not. I get angry. What do you want me to do? Right? Wow, I'm so scared. Red pill. Yep. Uncomfortable truth. How did we get here? I want to cry, right? Of course. 17 years is unacceptable. Yes, absolutely. And these doctors are so expensive for their guesswork. Guess why that is? I don't know. Health insurance? People look at me like I'm crazy when I tell them I don't have health insurance. It's ridiculous. I'm told to take blood thinners for life. Okay, yeah, we can talk about that. That's like, as if you can't fix that. That's ridiculous. Why would you have to do anything for life? It's insane. Asthma patient here and neurology. Fun. Okay, great comments, guys. Let's jump into more reasons how this happened. We're gonna jump into the marketing side of things. We're gonna talk about our old pals, Big Pharma. I'm gonna talk about politicians. Everybody loves a good politician, right? Let's talk about that. A long time ago, the government decided to allow pharmaceutical companies to do something called direct-to-consumer advertising, DTCA. DTCA. This is direct-to-consumer advertising. What does that mean for you? It means that back in the 90s, you started seeing television commercials for pharmaceutical drugs. You started hearing radio commercials for some pharmaceutical drugs. You started seeing billboard ads. Everybody liked to laugh about these beautiful commercials walking around sunshine and rainbows, and then it ends like, may cause anal bleeding and death, and you might murder your entire family and then jump off of a bridge. No big deal, right? No big deal. It's ridiculous. All the side effects. They'd say the side effects really quick, right? Those are all called direct-to-consumer advertising. The government allowed this to happen, and like I said, from 1998 to 2008, there was a 400% increase in antidepressant prescriptions. 400% increase, fourfold in just 10 years, okay? Now, like I told you, the vast majority of antidepressant prescriptions are written by family doctors. We told you that 7% of all visits end with an antidepressant prescription. Now, another thing is this is all messy, sorry, but 75%, so we look at those 7% of visits all end in an antidepressant prescription. 75% of those are written without a diagnosis. The doc basically goes, sure, cha-ching, money in the bank. That's what happens. 75%. No diagnosis whatsoever. No psychiatric evaluation, no nothing. No diagnosis. I'm just gonna give you Zoloft or whatever the hell I need to give you because you asked for it, right? That's another place that we get to. With these direct-to-consumer advertisements, people started watching television commercials and saying, I have that. It's like you go on WebMD. You snoop around WebMD long enough, you're going to be convinced that you're going to die a slow, painful death within the next 3 hours because you have all these crazy symptoms, right? So that's what happened. People watch these TV commercials, they go into the doctor's office, I'm depressed, I have every symptom from the commercial, and I need this pill. When that happens, when a patient makes a request for an antidepressant medication with zero evidence, zero diagnosis, the doctor obliges and writes the prescription 7 out of 10 times. 70% of the time, they write the prescription. Do you not think that these big pharma companies knew what they were doing when they did that? In 2008 alone, Big Pharma spent $4.8 billion on direct-to-consumer advertising for psychiatric drugs. $4.8 billion spent on advertising. If they have $4.8 billion to spend, how much money do you think they are making? Okay? This happened, again, it's the third most prescribed drug against all ages on planet Earth, right? This happened because the government, what they did with this direct-to-consumer, they let you be educated by Big Pharma. Sounds like a fantastic idea, right? Big Pharma gets to teach you about depression. Oh, you guys don't know about depression. Let me teach you. Let me teach you why you need this drug. Because I'm an expert, Mr. Marketing Company. I'm an expert. They were the ones who educated you on depression. Of course, people walk in a doctor's office saying, I have all of those symptoms. It's ridiculous. It's manipulative. It's disgusting. It is scumbag behavior. I don't like scumbags. It's not good. This is not fair. It's not your fault. It's not the people who fell for this in the 90s and the early 2000s. It's not their fault either. My mom's been on antidepressant medication for like 20-something years, right? Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Now I'm going to talk about how this sneaks up on you, okay? So unfortunately, women come to me all the time, they're exercising, they're dieting, and they're not happy with their results. And the first thing they do, and some of you may have said this to me in the past, I'm not happy. What else can I do? I need to change my plan. I need to tweak this. I need different foods. I need a different exercise regimen. I need a different this. I need a that, blah, 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 right? They want to change everything instead of sticking with the plan. And a very important question that I ask some of my clients when I can kind of figure out what's going on, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm kind of putting 2 and 2 together, right? I will ask them, are you taking any medications I should know about? Here's why. And this feeds into the story of how we got here. Couple facts. Birth control can cause thyroid dysfunction. Birth control can cause thyroid dysfunction. Thyroid medication can cause irritability, insomnia, nervousness, changes in menstrual cycles, all symptoms that put you on a fast track to getting an antidepressant prescription. Cholesterol medications lower all hormone production, especially steroid production. Steroidal hormones such as testosterone, things like that, lowers hormone production, which can lead straight to depression and thyroid dysfunction. Fast track to an antidepressant. Low hormones, some other key hormones such as cortisol and adrenaline, when those are low, if you have low cortisol and, low cortisol and low progesterone, this is obviously women, if you have low cortisol and low progesterone, your PMS symptoms can get incredibly bad. You can have crying fits, you can have abdominal pain, you can have irritability. Now, if you have irritability and crying fits, congratulations, you're about to get an antidepressant prescription. It's gonna happen. Another thing, sleeping pills. People take sleeping pills. It helps me sleep, Justin, I have to sleep. But what it does, it doesn't put you to sleep, it knocks you out. Sleeping pills have almost no efficacy whatsoever. It disrupts your deep sleep cycles. In your deep sleep cycles, we talked about this before, a Zamboni running through your body and cleaning out everything, right? In the sleep hacking AMA, there's a bunch of AMAs, I got a list for you, AMAs that you should watch to expand on this, right? When you disrupt those sleep cycles chronically, those hormones aren't released. So now you have hormone imbalance, your body can't rebuild and repair itself, you wake up, what? Groggy, irritable, anxious, depressed. You're dealing with a lack of sleep and hormone imbalance. You go to the doc, boom, you got yourself an antidepressant prescription. Now mind you, all these symptoms that you experience, whether it's lack of sleep or cortisol levels or progesterone or intense PMS or whatever it may be, these are all stress related. These are stress related symptoms. Now, when you're walking around stressed all the time, this can actually spike levels of cortisol and adrenaline. Cortisol and adrenaline, when chronically spiked, are responsible for things like fat storage. Fat storage, and when they're in too high of levels, they can cross the blood-brain barrier and cause inflammation in your brain, also known as depression, mental illness. Okay? I dropped a marker. It's crazy. So that's a little bit how this works, this crazy pharmaceutical, this vicious cycle, right? One pill leads to this symptom, leads to another pill, leads to this symptom, leads to this pill, right? So let me give you a quick scenario. I'll run you through this. Now, I don't know, this could be anybody. We'll call her Jane Smith, right? Okay, so you get a new boyfriend, you get on birth control. Feel a little crappy, a couple months later, so they test your thyroid, not knowing that your birth control can disrupt your thyroid function. Thyroid test comes back not so good, boom, you get put on a thyroid medication, not realizing that thyroid medication can cause irritability, nervousness, and increased symptoms of PMS. A couple months later, you're feeling indifferent towards life, can't really find joy, happiness, you're having really, really low lows, right? And occasionally, you tell the doc, sometimes I cry for no reason. Boom, back to the doc, out comes an antidepressant. Before you know it, in just a couple months, you're now swallowing a pharmaceutical cocktail every day. You got your birth control, you got your thyroid medication, you got your antidepressant, right? Everything's honky-dory. You're fit as a fiddle, right? The doctor, you're cured. Just take these pills every day for the rest of your life. Right? Crazy. Now, the same cycle can be repeated, and you can swap out birth control. The lead domino, we'll call it the lead domino. You can swap the lead domino for cholesterol-lowering drugs, like Lipitor. You can swap out the lead domino for sleeping pills, like Ambien. You can swap out the lead domino for a hormonal IUD. Any number of medications can cause the same vicious cycle, okay? I just want you to understand that. There is a reason why women are at a tremendously higher risk of depression and being prescribed an antidepressant than men are. Because of all these crazy things that you deal with that you put in your body. Because you're constantly trying to fight nature, right? That's the issue. Now, let's talk about the risks. This was brought up in one of the comments earlier. There's an increased risk of suicide with short-term use of antidepressants in younger patients. There is an increased risk of suicide with long-term use in older patients. Not really sure why. The younger you are, the shorter the term use of antidepressants, higher risk of suicide. In older people, the longer you're on your antidepressant, the higher risk of suicide. Now, the suicide risk is really no joke because there are stories of women who get something like postpartum depression and then they get put on an antidepressant medication. In Dr. Kelly Brogan's book, A Mind of Your Own, which I'll talk about later, there's a story about a woman who had postpartum depression and was given an antidepressant and 15 days later wrote a suicide note and was about to jump off of a bridge. She was rescued, thank God, and there are lots of stories like this. She got off, she turned her life around, she got off the antidepressant and everything, and she gave her testimony and was basically like, yeah, it really wasn't a big deal. And you're like, wait, what? What did you just say? Like, she wasn't shooken up. She wasn't upset about it. She's just like, no, it was really weird. I started taking that medication, wrote my suicide note, and was like, this is no big deal. I'm just gonna do it. Like, literally, just zero emotion. Just stone cold, right? And there are crazy stories like that because the danger lies in the indifference. You start messing with the chemicals in your brain because the doctor told you that you have a chemical imbalance. Crazy, right? It makes my head want to explode. But one of the biggest risks I see with antidepressant medication is dependency. Dependency. These drugs are incredibly difficult to get off of, okay? If you try to go cold turkey, there's a relapse that they call major depressive disorder. So you get off your antidepressant medication cold turkey, you go through something called major depressive disorder. Major depressive disorder is exactly what it sounds like, a period of intensely deep, dark depression where your risk of suicide skyrockets. Very difficult to get off. These things need to be weaned. I'm not going to tell you how to do that. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a doctor. When? I wish I was a doctor, right? You've completely disrupted your body's ability to heal itself. Your doctors have literally caused the chemical imbalance that they convinced you had in the first place that you didn't actually have. Okay? Okay. Doom and gloom, hellfire and brimstone, this is how we got here, fear-mongering, whatever you want to call it, blah, blah, blah. Let's move on to what you can actually do about this, okay? The good stuff. Let's get into the good stuff. What do you guys want to talk about? Let's see. Me, fat storage, 100%, Cassie. Placebo or not, I'm afraid to stop my depression medication. Absolutely, right? It's terrifying. It's terrifying, which is why you need to find a professional and you need to go step by step. Don't just do it because you watched this video. I would never, ever suggest that, okay? But you need to take this very seriously. What's up, Caitlin? I need tomatoes. What are you talking about? My doctor told me to do some research and let her know which one I wanted. Wow. Get a new doctor. Get a new doctor, okay? I have the Kelly Brogan book. Read it. It's fantastic. Doctor tried to prescribe me Zoloft when I went in for a cold for 2 months. Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right, cool. We're back to some of these comments I've already read. What else we got? No more sugar. Hell yeah, Allison. Let's do this thing. That's the best lead-in I've ever heard to this section. The most common root causes of depression. You're going to find out why I'm smiling here in a second because we're on week 23 of these Ask Me Anything videos. You guys, many of you, know me by now. Now, let's outline some of the major root causes of depression. I'm going to read them exactly as they're written. Food intolerances or sensitivities. Blood sugar imbalances. Chemical exposures. It's not like I wrote an ebook about that or anything. Thyroid dysfunction. Nutrient deficiency. It's not like I did an entire AMA on nutrient deficiency. Disrupted circadian rhythm. Entire AMA on sleep quality, right? Guys, does any of this sound familiar to you? It should, and it does, right? Good. Because it's literally detailing the entire Clovis protocol and every other AMA I've ever done. So I want to explain to you that depression, disclaimer, if you've been on an antidepressant for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, this doesn't apply to you because things are already complicated because of the medication, okay? Depression is no more complicated than obesity. It simply is not. The fact that you have received improper, unethical, dangerous treatment is complicated. That's very complicated. I'm not trying to take away from the struggle. I'm not trying to take away from people like Sadie who just said, I can't get off this, right? I totally understand. It's terrifying. I feel for you, and that's why I do this work. So I'm not trying to say this is not complicated. It's the root causes, what initially causes it, what you could change and prevent is no more complicated than obesity. So remember when I told you that the obesity epidemic has never happened, ever happened before throughout all of human history. Never happened before, what? What did we talk about? We talked about centenarians, we talked about the blue zones where people live to be over 100 years old, and we talked about there's only one diet on planet Earth that has been clinically proven to kill people. Well, one, veganism, had to throw that in there, and the food pyramid, right? The food pyramid. So never before the adoption of the food pyramid has the human race suffered from an obesity epidemic. Guess what? The same thing is true of depression. Never throughout all of human history has there been an epidemic of depression diagnoses until the adoption of the food pyramid. Okay? Now, traditional hunter-gatherer tribes, depression doesn't exist. Think about that. When I say traditional hunter-gatherer tribes, what am I saying? Paleo. There's a reason why I own a paleo nutrition company. There's a reason why I created the Perfect Paleo Powder. There's a reason why the foundation of everything I do is based on these traditional hunter-gatherer tribes. You know what else doesn't exist in them? We've talked about it in countless AMAs. Obesity, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia, all the Western diseases, aka food pyramid diseases. That's why you may have heard me call it the SAD diet before. Now, the SAD diet stands for Standard American Diet, but the SAD diet today literally means the SAD diet. We can call this the depression diet. The SAD diet. This epidemic has never happened throughout all of history until the adoption of the food pyramid. It's ridiculous. And why? So let's get rid of this. Well, we'll keep it. This is what's caused everything. The reason, this is what depression is. We're going to talk again about your gut microbiome. Why? Depression is inflammation. Depression is inflammation, inflammatory cytokines, inflammatory biomarkers that have crossed the blood-brain barrier, and you now have literally inflamed brain, right? You have a gut that cannot produce serotonin, okay? Now, do we know if serotonin is really the root cause? Really don't. It's a hypothesis. It's their best guess, and yet no one talks to you about your gut microbiome. If they're so convinced it's serotonin, why don't they lead with the gut microbiome? Sam has said this in the Clovis Academy many times. Why isn't your doctor's first question, what are you eating? Right? Why isn't that their first question? There's tons of recent studies coming out showing an undeniable link between gut dysfunction and the brain. Leaky gut, okay? Leaky gut equals inflammation, right? Now, this is an irrefutable fact. When someone's blood is tested, the higher their inflammatory markers in the blood, the higher their risk of depression. And people with the highest markers of inflammation in their blood have the most severe cases of depression. I'm telling you, depression is inflammation. Now again, before you start freaking out and say, but I've been on your protocol, I don't have inflammation, were you medicated? Were you ever medicated for your anxiety, for your depression, for all these things? It's gonna take time. And if you're still on them, it's gonna take even more time, okay? And again, I'm not telling you to get off them. I never said that, not once, and I'm not gonna say it this entire AMA, okay? But the higher the levels of inflammation, the higher the risk of depression, period. This is irrefutable scientific data. This is not a debate. No one can debate this with me, okay? The highest level of inflammation means the most severe cases of depression. Let me outline how true this is. Science put this to the test. So scientists literally took completely healthy people showing no signs or symptoms of depression, injected them with an inflammatory substance to purposefully trigger an inflammatory response. These healthy people with zero history of depression developed the traditional symptoms of depression almost instantaneously. Like that. Have never shown signs of depression at all. They boost their inflammatory markers, boom. These people were literally depressed. They made people depressed with an injection of inflammation, basically. Now again, you can get your inflammation levels tested with a simple C-reactive protein test. That's probably the best way to do it right now that tests systemic inflammation. C-reactive protein. Spoiler alert, I test my C-reactive protein all the time and it's untraceable. Literally. doesn't even show up on tests. My dad is the same way. He had like the lowest marker for inflammation that you could get in a 59-year-old man. It's unbelievable. This stuff works, guys. There's a reason why we do this, right? And it sounds a lot like obesity, skin issues, acne, all these inflammatory things, right? People have said this in the academy over and over and over. Man, I cheated, I ate this, and boom, I had a breakout the next day. Or I cheated, I ate this, and my eczema came back. Or I cheated, I ate this, and my joints hurt again. I haven't had joint pain in like a month. Why did I eat that? Oh, that was so dumb. They get so mad at themselves, right? It's an inflammatory response, and it's almost instant, and it can last like 72 hours, right? That's why I tell people about cheat days. Why would you do a cheat day when you know you're just going to load your body with inflammation? Why would you do that, right? So think about this. The statistics, right? Inflammation. This is how closely tied all of this is. Clovis and lifestyle and nutrition and everything. Obesity carries a 55% increased risk of depression. Obesity, 55% increased risk of depression. Diabetes carries a 30% increased risk of depression. 30% increased risk for diabetes. Let's get more specific. Diabetic women who take insulin, 53% higher risk of depression. Obesity, 55% higher risk of depression. Diabetes, 30% higher risk of depression. Female taking insulin, supplementing insulin, diabetic, female diabetic with insulin, 53% higher risk of depression. Now, all of these things, as we know, I just don't want to take the time to write them all out. Obesity, diabetes, female diabetic taking insulin injections. These are best treated through what? Lifestyle. Lifestyle changes. I am Clovis. Right? Lifestyle changes. This is what I do. Okay? This is what I do. There's a reason why I do this work. I've said this before and I've said it again. I don't give a shit what you look like naked. Look me in the eyes. I know we're not in the same room, but look me in the eyes. I truly don't give a shit what you look like naked. I'm trying to save your life. I'm not kidding. I'm not just doing this for fun. I'm trying to save your life because I do these deep dives research and I get so mad I can't sleep at night. Legit couldn't sleep last night knowing that I'm going into this because of the research I did. I was reading books cover to cover to give you this information. This is what I do. I try my very best to save lives. Not trying to get you a six-pack. Sorry, I don't care about your six-pack. You might, I don't. That doesn't drive me. That's not what gets me out of bed in the morning. I'm trying to save your life. Can we please talk about kids trying to save their lives? When I give you, I'll get choked up talking about this. When I give you an approved foods list for kids, I'm trying to get you to lower their fucking inflammation. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to get the inflammation out of your poor kid's brain. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what Clovis Kids is about, okay? When you tell me I can't stand the tantrum that the kid gives me when I don't let him eat Cocoa Puffs, man, I got a hard time swallowing that. I got a real hard time swallowing that. I try my best. And I do this all from a place of love, okay? So I'm not trying to judge you, judge your parenting or anything like this. I understand the risk. I understand what they're up against. We just had a comment, a 14-year-old got prescribed antidepressants for migraine headaches. Migraine headaches, that's easy enough. Lower the inflammatory foods, start supplementing with sodium and water. Migraine's gone. I'll show you countless people in the Clovis Academy who say their migraines are gone. This is what we're talking about, guys. This is serious. When I say we're taking a red pill, I'm telling you, you have been duped. You have been duped. Take the red pill and start making changes, okay? Stop being a victim of the sick and twisted medical treatment that you have been receiving like a guinea pig based on unproven hypotheses, right? You are being experimented on and people's pockets are getting very, very fat while they're experimenting on you. I'm getting myself real pissed right now. Think about the manifesto that I read to you in the Clovis Academy in the morning. I am no longer the victim of marketing gimmicks or big food propaganda. I choose truth over their claims. Why do we say that? Why do I ask you to say that every morning? Because this is happening. You're getting attacked every day. You're getting attacked and manipulated. You're getting hung upside down like a bully, shaking out of kids' pockets for lunch money. They take your money and then drop you on your head. It's insane. Absolutely insane. Stand up for yourself. I would make these changes for you if I could, but I cannot. I promise you I would. I would put all 850 members of the Clovis Academy on my back, and I would walk you where you need to get to if I could physically do that. I promise you I would, because up here, I'm definitely strong enough to do that. And that's why I'm here working for you guys, okay? Stand up for yourself. Think about it. I'm not saying sad things aren't going to happen, okay? People are going to die. Breakups are going to happen. Divorces are going to happen. Probably some terrible things. You're going to witness some terrible things. The sadness reaction is normal, okay? But I'm talking specifically to women here. Let's think about TVs, movies, commercials, magazines, right? Sadness is normal. Feeling sad is normal. But what are you taught to do your whole life? I think it's cute, little commercials and Sex and the City episodes or whatever. You're taught to eat chick flicks, to watch chick flicks, eat pints of ice cream and Oreos, stay in bed for days, and drink all the wine you can handle. What does this do? Raises inflammation. We're back here, right? So you have a perfectly healthy response, sadness, a perfectly healthy response to a traumatic situation. Breakup, divorce, death in the family, whatever it may be, right? You have a perfectly natural sad response, but society tells you now's the time that you get to gorge on cake and ice cream and Oreos, stay in bed and drink wine. Inflammation. Up, right? More inflammation. Now what does this do? We already know that inflammation can literally cause, or it can increase the symptoms of depression. So you get sad, which is totally normal. You raise inflammation throughout your entire body because of the way you're coping with that sadness, which develops or increases symptoms of depression. And in this state, it will take you much, much, much longer to get over the initial trauma to begin with. This is why some people face adversity, and you're like, man, that guy faces adversity, he bounces back real quick. I've had some messed up shit happen to me. If I told you guys the deal that went down last year, I thought I was going to lose my company. But what happens? I get back on this computer and I make shit happen. I don't wallow, okay? This is not me, I'm super cool. I'm just saying that this happens when you deal with it by increasing inflammation. You don't get up, you don't exercise, you stay in bed, you increase inflammation. Then what happens? Now it's a month later and you're still feeling pretty blue, still feeling pretty sad, of course, because you've increased the risk of depression. We know that inflammation is directly correlated to the risk of depression. So this whole, I'm sad, give me a piece of cake, I'm sad, give me a glass of wine, right? Raises inflammation. Now it's a month later. So you've been bummed out for a straight month. What happens? The people who love you most in this world are going to walk up to you. It's going to be a grandma or an aunt or a mom who's been on an antidepressant for 30 years. She's going to go, sweetie, you know, you've been really broken up about this breakup for way too long. You really should see someone. I really think you should see someone. You go, thanks, Mom. You go see someone. You walk out the door with your brand new antidepressant prescription. Right? You see how easy it is for this to happen? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And I want to touch on something so you guys don't think that I have skipped this because I got a lot of questions about it. That is anxiety. So there's a ton of info on this. I've already gone an hour, and I want to do a quick note on anxiety. I can make this very, very quick. I can almost skip over it. And here's why. Anxiety is depression. Anxiety is depression. It's literally the same thing. The same exact root causes, slightly different manifestations. So let me explain that almost all depression patients experience symptoms of anxiety, but not the other way around. Anxiety patients don't always exhibit symptoms of depression. Depression patients almost always experience symptoms of anxiety. Why? Because anxiety is depression, it's just more mild. It's the same root causes, right? So a lot of people that have depression Mild depression manifests itself as anxiety. People that have deep depression have almost the same symptoms of people with anxiety. These are things like constantly worrying, forgetfulness, insomnia, irritability, feeling uneasy, feeling scatterbrained, lack of concentration, all these things. Same root causes, different manifestations. So all these recommendations I'm about to give you for depression are exactly the same for anxiety. Exactly the same. So if you've been dealing with anxiety, you want to try to jump on this stuff before things get worse, okay? Because anxiety can very easily lead into depression, okay? And like I said, not all anxiety patients experience depression, but you can very easily cross that threshold. Boom, now you got symptoms of depression and you're going to experience those symptoms of anxiety as well. It's terrible. Anxiety is a giant warning sign. Warning, 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 warning. It's crazy. It's literally telling you, you gotta change some stuff. All right, let me grab some quick comments here. Whew, this is crazy. Ooh, we got a lot of comments now. Sugar, every time I eat it, I get so down it's hard to get out of it. Yes, 100%, right? Can't wait to watch from the beginning. What's up, Kristen? Jackie, mind blown. I know we talked a little bit earlier today. I was feeling real down today. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like this AMA like basically made me depressed. I thought I was gonna cry a lot today. It's really upsetting. So what test would you ask to check for blood for inflammation? Like I said, C-reactive protein. It looks like this. It's little c. C-reactive protein. Get that done. I don't know if it'll be covered by insurance. I do it through a functional medicine doc. I'm not sure. Mother was insulin dependent, type 1, and depressed. Huge correlation, giant correlation. Migraines gone, IBS gone. Jessica Huff, thank you for saying that. All 5 of my kids are keto paleo. Amazing, Cassie. We're going to be a part of the solution now. You damn right, Jackie. You absolutely are. We deserve better health. 100%, 100%, right? Years to get over. Yes, anxiety is depression. Yes, absolutely. Yes, he said it. I wasn't going to leave you hanging on anxiety. A lot of you wanted to talk about anxiety. This was super important to talk about, but just real quick. You can visit sadness, but you don't have to dwell on it. Yes, again, of course, you don't have to dwell on it, but it's easy for someone like me. I'm not saying that I'm awesome, I'm more powerful, anything like that. If I experience sadness, I get out of it quicker because what did I tell you? I test C-reactive protein every 3 months. It's untraceable. I literally have no systemic inflammation in my body whatsoever. None, okay? So it makes it a little bit easier. How do you feel about the keto diet? I feel great about it, April. Clovis is very low carb, but not considered keto, like my protocol. So I think it's fantastic, but with women, you have to be really careful. Long-term keto, not for it for women. And all these Clovis Academy people, they already know that. But yeah, long-term, you gotta be real careful with it with women because of hormone issues. This isn't really new information to me, but so moving. Yes, so many people can be healed, and that's what I'm trying to do. Absolutely. Okay, so what can you do? I'm gonna keep going. I know I'm over time, but what can you do? First and foremost, read A Mind of Your Own by Kelly Brogan. Dr. Kelly Brogan, A Mind of Your Own. Read it. I will put it in the show notes. Remember, blog post goes up, has all the show notes. Jackie Smith is lovely. She's the most beautiful woman, and she helps me out with this every week with the show notes. The show notes are great, and I will give you links for everything. You have a link to A Mind of Your Own by Kelly Brogan. Immediately study it and take action. Stand up for yourself. This is the single best piece of advice I will give you in this AMA. Spoiler alert. Here's how you will learn to combat depression. Again, stop me if any of this sounds similar or familiar. Remove gluten. Remove processed carbohydrates, especially sugar. Eat whole organic foods. Eat pastured eggs, grass-fed animals, and wild fish at least 5 times a week. Avoid all dairy. No peanuts, no legumes. Eat high fat. Remove all toxic chemicals from the household. Develop healthy sleeping habits and turn them into a routine. Routine healthy sleeping habits. Adopt movement practices each day. Notice how I did not say intense exercise. Did not say intense exercise. Adopt movement practices and a healthy amount of exercise each and every day, right? Are you kidding me? This is Clovis. It's literally every single one of those topics that I just said from one of the top experts in the world on how to treat depression naturally, literally just spelled out the Clovis protocol for you. Cat's out of the bag, secret's out. That's my entire protocol. Literally, right? It's been covered at length in all these AMAs. Some lady left the Clovis Academy because she thought I was secretive. I have 50 plus hours of free information. Go back and watch all the AMAs. I'll give you a few AMAs right now that you can handle all those things that we just talked about. Everything in your house is killing you, AMA. Sleep hacking and personal freedom. How eating fat can save your life. Stop telling your kid to eat vegetables, which is all about micronutrient deficiencies, and many, many more. I have an ebook for everything in your house is killing you. Go to Clovis.store right now. Clovis.store, and look on the homepage. You're going to see an approved products list. That is how to make your household chemical-free. Covers everything from makeup, to deodorant, to shampoo, to soap, to cleaner for the home, to laundry detergent, to dishwashing detergent. Covers everything, right? Check it out. It's approved products list at Clovis.store. Scroll down right there on the homepage under ebooks. You can figure out how to remove the chemicals from your home. Guys, we've been over all this again and again and again. And I almost hate that it went this way because I think a lot of you expected me to do a depression episode and hear some new information. You learned a lot of new facts. Yes, you learned about serotonin, you learned about pharmaceuticals, you learned about the marketing companies, you learned about doctors, you learned about all these things. You learned new facts that you didn't know, but the solution hasn't changed. So what we're doing is we're compounding what I've been telling you. Is it fun to cheat sometimes? Sure, I guess. But is the $10 pizza that someone brought in from the accounting department for a birthday party on your lunch break, is it worth it? I don't think it's worth it. Some of the cheapest food in the world. Does it taste good in your mouth for a second? Cool, not worth it. I don't have inflammation in my body. I don't struggle with these things. I can't imagine what it would be like to struggle with these things, but I've seen it. I've seen it in my family. It's heartbreaking. I've seen it since I was a little kid. And what did it spawn from? A death in the family. My mom lost her brother when he was very young. It sucked a lot. I was 8. And he was 42 years old, I think. It sucks, man. It's sad. It gives me sad thinking about it right now, right? But now you're stuck. You're stuck. You have a perfectly natural response and you get stuck, right? So if you're stuck, you want help. Obviously, we always get to this portion. You guys know I offer custom nutrition plans. I'm leaving it at that. You know I offer custom nutrition plans. You know that if you have friends, I can help them. You know that I've helped many of you. And you know that these custom nutrition plans, nothing has changed, right? You just do hashtag buy custom macros right now. All one word, hashtag buy custom macros. Leave that as a comment. You'll be brought to a page for a $97 charge and you get a custom nutrition plan. It comes with custom macros, comes with access to Clovis, exclusive video content, the approved foods list, all the things that you need to turn your life around. And then we can have one-on-one conversations and I can lead you to water for other things like this medication issue or whatever. I can't tell you directly to get off of it, but I can point you in the right direction. I can point some people who you should talk to who are more qualified than I am. And also with your kids, if you want to get a handle on this with your kids, so you don't have a 14-year-old with a migraine who gets prescribed freaking antidepressants, you can do hashtag buy Clovis kids. And that is 127. 127 is access for your entire family, all your kids. So, that's the sales portion of tonight. $97, custom macros. Buy custom macros. I will change your life. If I've changed your life, leave a comment. Let the other people know that I will change their lives too. I'm going to leave this here so you can see it. Buy Clovis Kids. We're going to get into the live Q&A. Now, before I get into live Q&A, there's a couple things that I want to touch on. So I preloaded a couple things that were the most common. I do live videos every day, so that's another thing. If you're in Clovis or you're in the Clovis Kids, you get a private Facebook group along with that, and I go live in it every morning. We talk about things, I answer questions, whatever. So this morning I took some questions. Yesterday morning I took some questions from Clovis and Clovis Kids. Here were some of the most common ones. So we want to talk about length of time, okay? Length of time is a really tricky one. Like I said, women say things like, I've been on your protocol for 60 days. I have a long history with depression, years history of depression or anxiety or whatever mental illness, right, or psychiatric issue that they've been dealing with. They're like, I've been on your protocol for 60 days. I know my inflammation's down, right? But why am I still getting sad? And they ask me when that will change. I can't answer when that changes because a lot of them are still on medication. A lot of you are still on medication. We got some comments about it in this thread right here, that a lot of you are still on medication. That is not my area to tell you what to do. I can't tell you what to do, okay? There's not a whole lot I can do about that, and unfortunately, the longer you've been on medication, the longer it will take to recover. The wean-off period is going to be longer. Like I said, if you stop cold turkey, you get that major depressive disorder, which increases your risk of suicide. You can't mess with this stuff. It's incredibly dangerous. Don't do it. Find a professional, okay? I cannot legally stand here on video and tell you to stop taking medication. I will not do that. I would never do it. It's as irresponsible as the doctor who prescribed that shit for you to begin with, and I won't do it, okay? I urge you to find a functional medicine doctor, and I told you I would show you this. It's literally just functional medicine.org. Go to functionalmedicine.org. They have a find a practitioner option, and you can find a functional medicine doctor in your area. Remember the quote, optimal health is not possible with medication. With, not without. Optimal health is not possible with medication. Another thing, I got a question about soldiers, TBI, and PTSD. I looked into this extensively. I'm going to tell you step by step how to get through it, assuming you have someone who's open-minded, assuming you have somebody who might listen to this little 30-second portion of the video. They don't need to watch the whole thing. It's like pulling teeth to get guys to watch my videos. Some of them don't like me, whatever. But in countless cases, the symptoms of PTSD are actually present because of TBI. So TBI is traumatic brain injury. So a lot of times, it's manifesting itself as the same symptoms. It's like anxiety and depression, right? So there's a lot of guys who come home who have never seen combat, and they're suffering from severe PTSD. They're told that they're suffering from severe PTSD. Now, even if they haven't seen combat, you have a lot of concussive things that happen in the training for any kind of military. You're firing a lot of weapons. There are very loud noises. You're shooting a rifle. I have shot a boatload of guns in my life, right? And boom, boom, boom. These are concussive, right? These are little tiny microtraumas in the brain that lead to compounding TBI, right? So what happens when you get TBI, especially in men, is testosterone levels go in the toilet, right? Testosterone levels go down. You can have all sorts of issues in the brain. Growth hormone, which is released while you sleep to help you repair muscles and all these things. Like I said, a lot of these things happen when you sleep. A lot of times, whether they saw combat or not, PTSD is a direct result of TBI. Now, this is so prevalent that there's an entire foundation dedicated to it. It's called the Warrior Angels Foundation. Warrior Angels, okay? Warrior Angels. So if you Google Warrior Angels Foundation, you're going to find a guy named Dr. Mark Gordon. And Dr. Mark Gordon specializes in treating TBI to reverse the symptoms of PTSD in our veterans. This is incredibly important work, okay? So I highly suggest if you have someone who's been touched by this, you need to look up the Warrior Angels Foundation immediately. And two of the top things I can tell you to do is remove the inflammatory foods, gluten, grain, sugar, dairy. Remove the inflammatory foods, pump up the healthy fats, right? Especially omega-3s, like mega dosing of omega-3s. You need to give the brain what it needs to recover from all these little microtraumas that have compounded into TBI, okay? Now, while we're still talking about soldiers, I want to talk about very alternative methods. Don't shoot the messenger. I know a lot of you are conservative. I'm just going here. I haven't really gone deep into this in any other AMA, so here I am, naked as a jaybird, telling you about psychedelics. Now, disclaimer, I am not advocating the use of psychedelics whatsoever. That would be illegal. So, I'll just share some facts with you. MDMA, yes, street drug ecstasy is the main ingredient of the street drug ecstasy. It's not the same thing as ecstasy, don't freak out. MDMA has now moved into stage 3 clinical trials to be used in combination with psychiatric therapy for the treatment of PTSD in soldiers. It has moved all the way to stage 3 clinical trials. MDMA is the single most effective treatment for PTSD in soldiers that has ever existed in the world. That is a fact. Whether you believe in psychedelics, whether it's against your beliefs or whatever, it is a fact that MDMA is the most effective treatment we have ever seen for PTSD. It has been moved to stage 3 trials, which means it is very, very close to being approved to be used in treatment for these soldiers coming home. MDMA is so powerful that a lot of these soldiers who come home with PTSD, they have one treatment in a clinical setting, they are administered the MDMA, and then they see a licensed psychiatrist, therapist, right? One time. Then they go home. A couple months, They come back, they take the questionnaire, they get evaluated, no more PTSD. A lot of the soldiers actually get mad because when they no longer test positive for PTSD, they can't get another treatment. But the treatment was so earth-shattering and so life-changing for them, they got their life together, they feel amazing, they want another treatment. And because of the regulations, the guidelines of these studies that are funded, they can't give them another treatment. The soldiers get pissed because that first treatment changed their whole lives. We're talking about MDMA, guys. That's a psychedelic, okay? We're going there, we're getting crazy. There are countless stories of human beings experiencing profound changes through psychedelic experiences. This has been the case in every single civilization throughout all of human history. So another thing, if you want to check out, I'm going to put this all in the show notes. On Amazon Prime Instant Video, watch a documentary called Neurons to Nirvana. Here, let's move some of this. Okay, on Amazon, Neurons to Nirvana. Not even going to say anything more than that, just check out Neurons to Nirvana. There's another book that just came out by a very, very respected author named Michael Pollan. Michael Pollan's new book is called How to Change Your Mind: What the New Science of Psychedelics Teaches Us About Consciousness, Dying, Addiction, Depression, and Transcendence. Why did Michael Collins, a well-respected journalist, decide to write a book about psychedelics and risk his entire career on it? Why would he do that? Because he read a study about psilocybin, the main ingredient in magic mushrooms, being administered to late-stage cancer patients who were going to die. They gave them psilocybin, and there was a tremendous change in all of these patients. And when they were surveyed, they no longer had a fear of death. Their fear of death was vanished. They had accepted it. They were happy, no depression, no nothing. So all I'm saying here is do some research, be open-minded, don't be afraid to Google some wacky shit. Okay? Check these things out. Now, let's jump into your Q&A. Let's talk about it. What else we got? There's a whole podcast in this, MDMA. Sadie, there are probably thousands of podcasts on that. I can tell you one, the Third Wave. The Third Wave podcast. Another one that just came out is Aubrey Marcus, the Aubrey Marcus podcast. With Don Howard. All right, guys, screw it. Never said this before, I'm just gonna go there. I have a shaman. That shaman runs a place called Spirit Quest in Peru. That shaman is Don Howard. I have the same Peruvian shaman as Aubrey Marcus does. So hop on the podcast, listen to the episode with him. He's an incredible human being. And yeah, there, I said it. I've spent some time in the jungle, okay? So let's talk about, what do you guys want to talk about? Live Q&A, open. I went way over. Yeah, I had a feeling the laughing faces would come through. Yes, Peru is awesome, okay? Also, fun fact, Dave Asprey, Bulletproof Radio, you guys know Bulletproof Coffee, all that, did a seminar in a room full of nothing but billionaires, literally speaking to all billionaires, and he stood on stage and he said, how many people have had in this room have had a profound psychedelic experience? 100% of the room raised their hands. Then he said, how many people use psychedelics for profound experiences on a regular basis? A solid 90% of the room kept their hands raised. These are billionaires, guys, the most successful people in the world. All right, now, I'm not recommending you use psychedelics. That's illegal. I would never recommend such a thing. All right, let's talk about live Q&A. What do we got? All right, I'm back. I'm scrolling back down to how do you feel about the keto diet? We hit that one. I'm going to look into this and try to get my wife to try. I got to go to work. Hank, thanks, man. Thanks for being here. Tommy, my man. I don't know who Tommy is. Introduce me to Tommy. The book is worth the read, definitely. Tommy, you and Justin need to connect. I think if you're trying to tag Tommy, I think you just have to put the @ sign if that's someone you're trying to tag. Matt Frew, what's up, man? Matt Frew's here. Kristen Bridge. What? Provided so much freaking info. It's just that simple. That's right, Kristen. Carla, exactly how I feel, for sure. My mom had 2 heart attacks by the time she was 43. That's crazy. All my dad's uncles had heart attacks by the time he was 53. His brothers had a widowmaker heart attack, survived. Thank God my uncle's still with us. Love yourself, take care of yourself, take care of others. Put your oxygen mask on first. Yes, I love talking about that. Debbie, you still watching Pastor Best Time? Worth every penny. Thank you, Stephanie. Absolutely. Brett Murdoch, life changed. Cassie, Clovis changed life. Jackie changed my whole family when we were in a horrible spot, personally, worth everything. Nikki, yep, you changed my life. Cassie Threat, medication free, gonna stay that way. Kristen Bridge, I love what the Clovis Academy family has done for me and my kids. Guys, I love you. Cassie Threat, yes, I'm seeing a functional medicine doctor next week. Awesome, incredible, incredible, incredible. Seroquel is a definite killer. It's prescribed to most veterans. Yeah, it's ridiculous. There's crazy stuff happening with the VA. Don't even get me started on the VA. It's terrible. Hope awesome. They passed the peace pipe. Yeah, something like the peace pipe, something like that. A little different than a pipe, but you know. I work with the Ptsd Foundation. We pay for EMDR. Yes, another good treatment. Research Warrior Angels Foundation for sure, because EMDR can be very effective. It cannot be very effective by itself. If you don't have the lifestyle changes, the significance or the impact of the EMDR will be short-lived. If they do EMDR and then they go to Wendy's and eat a cheeseburger and a Frosty, they're going to lose the benefit, okay? Tommy J. Jordan, there he is, tagged him, awesome. Yeah, 2-minute explanation of what the psychedelics do to the brain. Watch Neurons to Nirvana. Just literally jump in and watch Neurons to Nirvana. There's a lot of them that work on serotonin receptors. There's a lot of them that work on dopamine receptors. All the psychedelics are different. The mechanisms of actions for these psychedelics are different. So, for instance, like DMT, which is the main ingredient of ayahuasca, it's secreted in your brain when you dream, it's secreted when you die, there's all these crazy things. DMT is in 60,000 plants around us. DMT is one, that's the main ingredient of ayahuasca. You have MDMA, you have psilocybin, you have LSD, which is man-made and actually completely safe. I hate to say that, you can tell me I'm wrong, but I'm not, trust me, it's just like this. You can tell me I'm wrong about serotonin, you would be mistaken. So I've done way more research on psychedelics than I've done on depression, I'm telling you. My doctor just doubled Lessapro to 40 milligrams. Why did he do that? Talk to him about it. Show him this episode. Tell him to explain to himself. Explain yourself, you fruity and sugar burner. That's what you should say. Don't really say that to your doctor. But anyway, April, welcome. I think is this your first video? Maybe. Asking questions. I love it. Thank you for engaging. Guys, what other questions do you have? I'll hang here all night. You know me. I got nowhere to be. And go home and eat some grass-fed ground beef and take care of my brain. It'll be awesome. What else you guys got for me? Any questions? The more questions, the better. Remember, buy custom macros, $97. You literally just hashtag on the video right now. Hashtag buy Clovis kids, get your family in. Remember, we're talking about your kids, we're talking about inflammation. I'm trying to remove inflammation in your kids as young as possible so they don't have to deal with the same problems that my generation, the generation above me, the generation above that. We don't want to deal with the same problems that they had. Clovis Kids is trying to save your kids from that. Mostly just in shell shock. Yes, I totally understand that. Leaky gut. Okay, there's a couple different ways you can test leaky gut. I'm trying to think of what the best one would be. The best way to do it is to go to your functional medicine doctor. I mean, you can do a full GI map. There's IgG or IgD testing. One that I can't remember which one is specifically for leaky gut. Look up brands like Cyrex. I think Cyrex is one. Cyrex is one that does a leaky gut. Genova. I can't remember the name. The tests have these weird codes. It's like test code. Like I did a Nutrival test, which was like amino acid and blah, 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 blah. It's a crazy test, right? All these words. Genova Diagnostics. I'm pretty sure they have leaky gut test. So Cyrex also does food sensitivity testing, but it's very expensive. Very, very expensive. So just see if they have a leaky gut test. You might want to focus on that first. Genova Diagnostics, you might want to focus on that. The best book I've ever read on it is called Healthy Gut. Sorry, chicken scratch right down low there. Healthy Gut, Healthy You. I love these AMA portions because you guys make me think on my toes here and get all this stuff in my brain, right? Healthy Gut, Healthy You, fantastic book. That's by Dr. Ruscio. Dr. Ruscio. Dr. Ruscio is awesome. So check out Dr. Ruscio, Healthy Gut, Healthy You. Genova Diagnostics, I think, don't shoot me if I'm wrong, I think they have a leaky gut test. I think Cyrex has a leaky gut test. Or just Google leaky gut test. Maybe there's an at-home test. There's probably ones that functional medicine doctors need to order as well. Taking in all the info. Thanks for all the info. Need to rewatch. Yes, absolutely. The ELISA speed tests are not covered. Yeah, that's the thing. Stephanie, I'm just going to be clear with you right now. I don't have health insurance. I don't understand the whole system. I think it's ludicrous that people pay into it. I'm not insulting anyone. Obviously, like, especially if you have medical conditions. I don't have medical conditions, but I think it's an insane system. It's archaic. It needs to be completely abolished from the top down. It needs to be completely redone. But anyway, so this is a great book called Unconventional Medicine by Chris Kresser that you should check out. Unconventional Medicine is fantastic. It's about the rise of functional medicine and how we're trying to literally transform the health insurance company because it is a scam that rips off everybody, right? But yeah, so I'm telling you, like, I mean, quarterly, I'm doing $1,200 in blood testing, and every time I see my functional medicine doctor, it costs me $400. Or no, the initial was $400. I think every appointment with him is $250. If I do a 25-minute phone consult, it's $125. I mean, and I pay it all out of pocket because it's the #1 priority in my life. So that's the way it is. Do you cook ahead of time and reheat? No, I cook meal by meal, but I'm also very lucky because I work from home. I work from home all day with Clovis, except when I come to the office to do things like this. And then I perform on the weekends, and I'm on stage for like 3 hours a night, so I'm rarely not in a place where I can't cook. Now, when I travel, obviously I don't. I got to do things differently, but I don't cook ahead of time, no. I need to see a functional MD so I don't have to take blood thinners for life. Yes, Stephanie, remember, I erased it now, but functionalmedicine.org. Find a practitioner. Definitely do that. Thank you for all you do. Cassie, thank you so much. Thank you. And congrats on your recent success. You are awesome. What else we got here? Sarah Smith's in here. What's up, Sarah Smith? How you doing? It's been a while. Welcome to Clovis, my thing. All right, Stephanie, thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. What else we got? Any other questions? It is now 9:30. We went a long time. We went an hour and a half on this one. This is a big one. Hi, Sarah. It's great that you're in here. All right, so that's about it, guys. Share this on your pages. Click the like button, click the love button, click the happy face. Tag your people who want to learn about depression. Very, very important stuff. Remember everything we talked about. Remember the pharmaceuticals. Remember how we got here. Remember how dangerous the drugs are. Remember that the serotonin hypothesis is a complete myth. Remember to lower inflammation. Inflammation equals depression. Anxiety equals depression. All these things, remember all of this. If you have a veteran, remember that. Try to get leaky gut tested. Inflammation. Check out this right here. I can't tell you guys this enough. Neurons to Nirvana. Just watch that documentary. I had my whole family watch it and they were like, what? This is crazy, right? Watch Neurons to Nirvana on Amazon. Stop the handwriting. The Third Wave is a podcast. That podcast is entirely about psychedelics, so you can learn about that. Things like microdosing. There are people walking around your cities microdosing LSD every day and you don't even know it, and they're the happiest people in the world. Aubrey Marcus podcast. You can listen to a podcast with my personal shaman. I spent time in the jungle in Peru with Don Howard, and he is amazing. He's an amazing human being. So definitely listen to that podcast. Yeah, these are your food sensitivity tests. What else we got? Better to eat eggs and bacon for breakfast or just drink coffee and fast those extra few hours. Depends on what you're trying to do. Okay? I always say this in all these AMAs, details matter. If fat loss is your #1 goal, it's best to skip breakfast altogether and do nothing but black coffee. If that's too difficult, you can use something like paleo powder in your coffee, which will give you 80 to 90% of the benefits of a fast, but won't be considered a full fast because there is 120 calories that are being ingested. So digestive enzymes are activated. But again, it depends on the goal. I don't think the #1 benefit of strict fasting is actually fat loss. I think it's autophagy and apoptosis, which takes a long time to get to, 16 plus hours. That's why I fast every day for 16 hours, but that's just me. I'm crazy, doing some experimenting right now. Can we do a meal recipe plan? Yeah, thinking about it, but I don't believe in them. I'm thinking about it. You guys are trying to push me over that fence. I get it, but it sounds crazy to say, but I don't believe in them because you're not learning anything, right? When I give you the approved foods list, I want you to sit down. I want you to study that approved foods list. It is a study guide. You sit down, you circle what you like, you look up the nutrition facts, you figure out what those foods are made of. You need to learn. Remember, my goal is that 3 months from now, 3 months of working with me, you don't need me anymore. I give you all the tools you need to go out and do your own thing. This is how I cook, right? I don't follow recipes. I hate recipes. I think they lead to overwhelm. I have a blog on clovis.store called Simplicity, Why Paleo Can Be So Overwhelming. I think this whole recipe book thing it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Oh, I need this ingredient, I need this ingredient, I need this ingredient. It takes 45 minutes to prep, blah, 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 blah. Mark my words, I don't cook a single meal. I cook all my meals. I don't cook a single meal that takes more than 10 minutes, start to finish. When I start heating the pan, I put a ticker on 10 minutes, and my food will be done in that 10 minutes. Steam up a vegetable, throw meat in the pan, sprinkle coconut aminos on it, put some salt on it, call it a day. but maybe I'm weird. I don't need variety. I can eat the same things every day. That's just me. Winging it every day. What are recipes? Exactly. Just throw stuff in a pan. Figure it out for yourself. That's the best way to get better. All right, what else we got? Thank you for being you. Stephanie, thank you for being you. And I hope that this helped you. I hope this helped you, and I hope you share it with some loved ones. Have discussions with your loved ones. Have discussions with your doctor. Don't be afraid don't be afraid to challenge your doctors. When you start pushing a little bit and challenging, you will find out how quickly they run out of answers on a regular basis. Okay? Anything else we got? Ground beef and sweet potatoes. Every day. All right, guys. We got an hour and a half. This is awesome. Remember, all you gotta do is write #MyCustomMacros and come work with me one-on-one. Change your whole life. Promise you. Go to the Clovis Academy, facebook.com/groups/Clovis Academy. I'm gonna put a comment right now. Okay? Follow that link I just put. Go join that group. That is a free private group. It's got 850 members. And search for a great thing to search for in the group. Use the search bar. Search for NSV. These are non-scale victories. You're going to see people whose clothes don't fit. You're going to see people who have cleared up eczema. You're going to see people holding out their old pants like this that they can fit another human being in. You're going to hear people talking about their energy, their mood. All these things have been improved. You're going to see pictures of their kids improving their lives. These are non-scale victories, right? Then you'll see the scale victories. 50 pounds in 8 weeks. 40 pounds in 60 days, 11 pounds in 7 days, 21 pounds in 15 days, right? It's insane. Just go into the Clovis Academy and use that little search bar. There's a little search bar right on the left, looks like this, got a little magnifying glass, right? Use that little search bar, type in anything you can think of. Dark chocolate, bacon, NSV, non-scale victory, type in weight, type in pounds, whatever. Just explore the Clovis Academy, see what I'm doing for people, and then get your ass in there. Let me help you. I want to, I promise. Right here, doing it all the time. Amazing group. Yes, Kristen, it is an amazing group. All right, guys, this has gone for a long time. I'm not going to sales pitch you to death. That ain't my style. But this has been AMA number 23. Remember, go back and review the ones I told you about. Sleep hacking, how eating fat can save your life. Fitness for fat loss is a good one. Everything in your house is killing you. Look at the one, the Stop Telling Your Kids to Eat Vegetables, all about micronutrient deficiencies. Go watch those other AMAs. Those are at clovis.store. Here. So many notes. Here, actually, let me put it right there. Clovis.store/AMA. Clovis.store/AMA. Nice and easy. Go there and you will find all the previous AMAs. And the cool thing is that on the Clovis blog, the AMAs have minute markers. So under the video, it'll be like, oh, 1 minute, we talk about sugar. You know, at the 15-minute mark, we talk about dairy or whatever. And then down at the bottom, you get all the show notes with links. So like this one, I'm going to link to all those episodes of podcasts. Third Wave, the Aubrey Marcus episode with Don Howard. We're going to link to all these different things, right? You're going to get all those show notes and links. So clovis.store/AMA. Go check out those blogs. You're going to love them. You will learn a ton. I promise you, it's over 50 hours of information and it's free. And the Clovis Academy is free, okay? But I do recommend you do this. Let's go deep. There's exclusive content in there that you can't get unless you #BuyCustomMacros. So, thank you guys so much. You're awesome. This has been live. Ask Me Anything. Number 23, depression, a second opinion. I hope you have taken this second opinion well. I hope you learned a lot and think on it. Get some sleep. Get a good solid night's sleep. Wake up. Watch it again. Take notes if you need to. And just sit down and journal. I'm telling you. I'm a big fan of journaling. I'm a big fan of goal setting. Sit down and journal. What are your goals for the next year? What do you want to do? When it comes to your mental health, what are you going to do over the next year to make things better? How are you going to be a better person? How are you going to stand up for yourself? How are you going to stop being a victim? How are you going to do that? And remember, I am right here for you. I am an email away. I am a Facebook message away. I am right here, and I am very engaged. Find me someone I haven't responded to. I'm very, very engaged. I am here for you, trying to save your lives, okay? Trying to help people, trying to get people healthy, but most importantly, trying to get people happy and fulfilled. That's what we do here at Clovis. That's what this is all about. Thank you guys. Live, Ask Me Anything, number 23, depression, a second opinion. My name is Justin Nault. I'll see you tomorrow in the Clovis Academy.